Davidson at Albertson and Davidson. In this video, I want to talk about the statute of limitations for contesting a trust. That means the deadline by which you must file your trust contest in court, or else you will be forever barred from contesting the trust document. Now, all we're talking about here is contesting the trust. So we're talking about saying that the trust document or some amendment is invalid because it wasn't properly created. What we're not talking about is when you want to contest the actions of the trustee or the management of the trustee or things the trustee is doing wrong. That is not a trust contest and therefore is not subject to the statute of limitations I'm about to talk about. But what is subject to the statute of limitations is contesting the validity of the document. So if you want to overturn a trust amendment, then you have 120 days from the date that the trustee gives you written notice. And we call it the 120-day notice because within that notice, there'll be some bold language that warns that you only have 120 days to file your lawsuit to contest the validity of the trust. It's 120 days from the date the notice was mailed to you. So when you receive the notice is not relevant. It doesn't matter when you received it. Only thing that matters is when it was mailed to you. So a trustee is supposed to provide you with that notice at the outset of the trust administration. And once you receive it, you really have to make a decision quickly. Now, if you're fine with the trust document, you don't have any problems with the share that you're receiving, then you don't want to contest the trust, so you don't have to worry about it. You might have problems with the trustee that you need to take care of down the line, but that's a whole separate issue. But if you get the trust document or trust amendment and you see that you've been disinherited or your share has been reduced or any number of other things have happened, then you may want to challenge one of the amendments that resulted in your disinheritance. And that's when you only have 120 days from the date the notice was mailed to you, not when you received it, when it was mailed to you. And that means you have to act fast because you're going to need to hire a lawyer. And whatever lawyer you hire, they're going to need time to review everything, analyze it, prepare the lawsuit, and file it. And that can take several weeks. So you definitely do not want to wait to find a lawyer till the last minute because you're not going to give the lawyer enough time to draft and file the lawsuit. The other thing about the 120-day statute is it is not dependent on whether or not you receive more information. So a lot of times people will think, well, I may want to contest the trust, but I want the trustee to give me more information. I want to see bank account statements. I want to see this. I want to see that. And maybe you make the request to the trustee and they say no, or they say, well, I'll give it to you later, meaning after the 120 days. Or for whatever reason, the information is delayed. And you might think, well, I didn't get the information, therefore I have more time. You don't. 120 days, that's all you've got. And if you don't file within that time period, you are done. Now, sometimes people get confused because the 120-day language says that you get another 60 days, but that's only if you receive a copy of the trust document within that 120-day period, and it's only if the 60 would extend the 120. So you always have 120 days. Start there. You always have 120 days after notice is mailed to contest the trust. You might have a little bit more time if you were sent a trust document, but here's a very important point. Why risk it? If you were within the 120-day period, file your trust contest lawsuit if that's what you're going to do. Talk to a lawyer, get it analyzed, get some advice, see if that's the road you want to go down. And if so, then file your trust contest lawsuit within the 120 days. The problem with this statute of limitation is it is a black and white rule. Once you're beyond the 120 days, you're done. You have to live with the trust and its amendments that were provided after death. That's what you're going to get. And so it's a very important statute of limitations. It's a very short statute of limitations, and it's one that you really must take very seriously. Albertson and Davidson is here to help you fight for your inheritance. Check out aldavlaw.com for our complete library of helpful legal videos and articles from your favorite California trust and will litigation law firm, Albertson and Davidson, LLP.